These came in clutch, okay? I saw huge differences with my grades. What is up, you guys? Oh my God, she is still living. Yes, guys, I am still here. I know. I've been MIA. Haitian Melanin, where you at? Da, 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 da. Nobody's actually saying that, but I wish you guys would say that. Yeah, you guys, this is Haitian Melanin back with another video. Back at you with another nursing content, you guys. I know it's been a while, but we're just gonna get straight into the video. In today's video, you guys, I'm just gonna be giving you guys some tips and suggestions on how to study for nursing school. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. When I decided to apply these tips into my lives, my grades changed drastically, okay? Like, when I originally started nursing school, I was going through it, okay? Like, I thought I was Superwoman. I thought I could be doing each and everything. Like, I literally said, I'm a Superwoman. I could do this. And I failed my class by 2%. So, yeah, and my exam grades were not looking good. But when I decided to, actually pay attention and invest into studying, my grades changed drastically. So if you're ready for this video, please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe, and comment any other videos that you'd like to see from me. Let's get straight into the video. So first and foremost, there is this test that's called VARK framework. I'm gonna apply the website down in the description below. So basically what it does is it asks you a whole bunch of questions about how you learn, how you remember stuff, how you retain information, and then from those options that you selected, it's gonna tell you what kind of learner you are. Are you a visual learner, or you're a kinesthetic learner, or you're a hands-on learner, auditory learner? So it tells you what type of learner you are, and it gives you some tips and suggestions on how you could best benefit from your studying with the type of learning that you are. Me, I'm kind of like everything, which makes sense. I forgot what it called it, but I'm gonna put my results on the screen. But basically, I'm auditory, I'm visual, I'm hands-on, like I'm acting on it. I'm literally like all the mixtures, which is so true. And that's what I was doing throughout nursing school to help me pass. So if you're interested in that, I strongly suggest going into VARK framework and taking the test to figure out what type of learner you are. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just only for us nursing students. It's for everyone in general. So first and foremost, you need to know the time that you are most active. If you're a morning person, afternoon person, or a late night person, you need to know when you're best active, when you're more focused to study. Me, I'm more like of a late night person. I don't know why. I study best at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. Ask me why, I don't know. But yes, so you need to figure out what time works best for you and utilize that time specifically for you to study. That's when your brain is, more active and more alert. In nursing school, you're not studying. In nursing school, you're not studying to memorize, but you are studying to apply. Make sure that the way that you used to study back in whatever class before, like where you just memorizing, that's not gonna cut it in nursing school, okay? What you're studying, you need to understand. You need to grasp the information, because what nursing is all about is applying the information that you know in several different scenarios. So you really need to know, what you're learning. And one way that I make sure that I know exactly what I'm learning is, by teaching it to somebody else. If I'm able to teach it to someone else, that means that I truly understand this topic. And I'm always asking why. Why is this medication given to this person? Why this medication causes this person this side effect? Why is this? Why is that? Always asking why. Because when you're oh no. No, my cute shirt. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. When you're constantly, questioning what you're learning, you're arising like more questions. Always ask yourself why. Why is this? Why is that? Don't just take it as it is. Don't just take like, oh, Zofran is given for nausea. Why is Zofran given for nausea? Like, why does a patient get nauseous? Always ask why when you are studying, okay? Trust and believe. You want to ask why. Why for everything, okay? Just take it as if you don't trust the textbook, okay? Always find why. Why is this? Why is that? I'm not just taking what you're telling me, but what you're telling me needs to make sense. Why is what you're telling me make sense? So make sure to always, try to understand what you're learning. Always ask why. When studying like a disease or a condition, what I do, I'm gonna put like a picture, on the video. What I do is basically I put the condition, I put what is the condition, what are some signs and symptoms for the condition, what are the treatments for this condition, what will happen if this condition doesn't get addressed. What are the signs and symptoms of knowing that this condition is worsening? Some nursing, forget the doctor. What are some nursing interventions that you can do? What are some things that you can do for this patient without waiting for an order? For example, if a patient is oxygen is below 90s, below 92, what are you gonna do? What is a nursing intervention that you're gonna do for that patient to make sure that they're getting proper oxygen? A nursing intervention for that is by lifting the bed up, lifting the head of the bed. You don't need an order to lift the head of the bed up. Know what you can do as a nurse now to help this patient, and then call the doctor. Because in reality, if something is going on with the patient, you're not going to run out the room and call the doctor. You're going to try to figure out what can you do now to at least get the patient somewhat stable. Rather you have somebody else call the doctor for you, or, once the patient is sort of stable, you reach out to the doctor. I don't know if that makes sense. Make sure you know the nursing interventions, and make sure you know what the doctor would do for that condition, or what kind of medicine they might, prescribe for this patient. So literally, if I were you, I'll take a whiteboard or a notebook or whatever, write the condition. What is the condition? What are some signs and symptoms of that condition? What are some nursing interventions for that condition? What are some treatments for that condition? That includes testing, medication, all of that. And you want to know what are some signs and symptoms that that this disease is getting worse. And when do you need to call the doctor and reach out for help? One thing that really helped me in nursing school was the process of active recalling. What active recalling does, it basically forces your brain to think about the answer. Like a lot of time when an information is just passively given to us, like when we're reading it, we're not gonna remember. So what I do is rather like I write it down, I restate it in my head, I turn it into a music, I turn it into a song. I make that information personal to me instead of it being personal to something else. Like for example, like the textbook, somebody else wrote that textbook. That has nothing to do with me. It's not personal to me. It's not, it's not personal to me. But what I do is to make myself interact with that subject, I make sure I write it down. I make sure that I recite it. I make sure I take practice questions, make sure that I discuss it with another friend, you know, whatever you have to do to make that information personal to you. And with that way, because you're using your senses, because you are doing a little bit more extra than that information passively given to you, it's easier for you to be able to active recall it. Like I said, active recall is basically forcing your brain to think. When you're asking yourself, why is this? Why is that? That is forcing yourself to think. A lot of times when we're studying, we think we know the information. Like when we're reading the textbook, you're like, oh, like I know this. This is easy. I got this. But when you're sitting there and like somebody else is quizzing you, or when you're in a test, the same thing that you thought you understood, but when it's time to recall it, when it's time to apply it, you realize that you never really understood it all along. One way that you can test how well you can recall something or remember something is by active recalling. Like, for example, I take a blank sheet of paper and write down everything I know about that disease. I write down the signs and symptoms. I write down the nursing interventions coming from my brain, not opening the book, because when the test comes, I'm not gonna have a book next to me. It's all gonna be coming from my brain. So literally, you guys, if I could tell you anything today, active recalling is where it's at. Try to recall the information yourself. Try to not test yourself with the book open, but test yourself with what do you know about it. You know, if you need more information about active recalling, I suggest that you search it up on YouTube. What I'm telling you right now, that is the holy grail. Okay, that is the best tips and suggestion that I could give you is active recalling. Because with active recalling, you're able to really see what you understand and don't understand. You're really able to see what you remember and don't remember. You're really able to just get a sense of where you at on that subject specifically. So yeah, do your active recalling, you guys. So me personally, what I did for nursing school to study is, first off, what I did when studying on a new subject for nursing school, I searched up a video on it. Whether I watched Nurse Sarah, Level Up RN. I searched up the subject on YouTube. I watched a summary of it. Okay? I watched several videos until I get like a good foundation on that subject. Okay? So after that, I go and I read the book. But before I read the book, I make sure that I go over the terms that's highlighted within the chapter. Like at the beginning of the chapter, it'll give you like some medical terms that you're gonna see throughout the scripture, the reading, and it gives you the definition. So I make sure that I familiarize myself with those words, because a lot of times those are the same words that you're gonna see that pops up in the exam. Okay. So I make sure I get myself familiarized with those vocab words, and then I get to reading. After reading the chapter, I make sure I take breaks, you know, here and there. After reading the chapter and making sure that I understand, whether I go and watch the more videos on it, or I go into PowerPoint. Okay. And this is why an iPad was the holy grail for me in nursing school. After I got my iPad, you guys, chef's kiss. But anyways, so I download the PowerPoint on the iPad. Okay, I go over everything in the PowerPoint. If I need to elaborate more on certain points that's on the PowerPoint, I write it down with my Apple Pencil. I write it down next to it. All right. So after doing all of that, that's when I go and take quizzes to see how well I really, know this information that I just studied. Or if this is like before class, or what you could do is you could watch a video on it, read the book, go to class the next day with your PowerPoint already downloaded. When the teacher is going over the subject, I always make sure to record what the professor is saying. Some professors don't mind you recording, but some does. It's up to you what you want to do. But I recorded what the professor is saying. If the professor is saying that something is very important, I make sure I put like a star on that PowerPoint. So anything that the professor is saying, that I'm interpreting it different in a way that I could better understand what's in the PowerPoint, I write it down. Any additional information, I write it down. Okay? And then on my drive home, I take a little break. Sometimes I meet with the girls later on, like after class, so we could have a group study. I'll go into depth about how we, go and do group study. But let's say if I'm just going straight home, I play the audio that I recorded in class while I'm driving home. If the teacher was speaking too slow, I play on 2 times. If the teacher says something that I didn't understand, I rewind it. So it's like I'm going through the topic again. And then after that, because my driving was like an hour long, so after that I'd make sure to watch other videos, if I want to speed up the audio or not. Me personally, I always watch my videos sped up because I'm able to focus better that way. So when I get home, I take a little rest, and then I do practice questions on it and see how well I understand. If I don't understand, certain things, if I'm getting stuff wrong, I go back and I try to, understand it. I always read the rationales, because the rationales is explain to you why this was wrong, why this was wrong, why this was right. It's explaining everything to you. So maybe like next time we meet, me and the girls, we could meet up and speak about the subject. We assign, okay, you're gonna talk about this subject, you're gonna talk about this subject, you're gonna talk about this subject, and then we teach it to each other. One thing about nursing school, you need a group to study with, okay? Because yes, you guys all attended the same class, but you guys understand things differently. Each one of you guys understand things differently. So I always made sure that we were watering each other. You teach me what you know, I teach you what I know. So we just putting knowledge into each other. This one is teaching me how to best retain this information. This one is teaching me some tips and tricks. So we're all just bouncing off ideas. And a lot of times with me personally, when I speak about something, I retain it better. So if I'm teaching it, or we basically make the topic turn into like a discussion, and that helps tremendously, you guys. Like during my first 3 semesters of nursing school, I was like, I could do this all along, but you guys, when I decided to group study, everything changed. Everything changed, you guys. Take lots of practice questions. Like, there's only so many ways that a professor can reword a question. Like, you'll realize that the questions are all the same, but just worded differently. So take lots of practice questions. If the teacher recommends something, look into it. If there's something that's posted on your class website, look into it. Like whatever resources that your professor gives you, look into it, okay? Because that's one thing that I had to learn the hard way during my first semester in nursing school. Literally, some of the answers on the exams were on like certain links on the group chat. On the class website. And I didn't even bother looking into it because the teacher didn't mention it in class. But because it's posted, it meant a lot. And After the exam, the professor was like, oh, barely anybody opened that link. If you guys opened that link, y'all would have passed that. I'm like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. So another thing, always watch YouTube videos. Like different classes will require different YouTube channels to best study. Like for example, when I was taking pharmacology, I was watching the YouTube channel called Picmonic. When I was studying mother baby or pediatrics, I was into nurse RN for that semester. When I was studying for med-surg, I was looking into Nurse Mike or Nurse Sarah. And it's like different classes will require different subject. And I also different classes will require different YouTube channel or changing up your studying habit. Nurse Nexus is another one that I was using to study. And not only does different classes require different YouTube channels, but it requires like different ways like that you can study. Like physical assessment. I forgot. It was one of the few classes that I had to take in nursing school. It's basically the one where it teaches you how to like properly assess a patient. That class was more like a hands-on class. Pharmacology was more like writing down stuff and repeating repeating the information over and over again. What else? Med-surg was more like group study. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like different class requires different methods to better retain the information. And with me, I was making sure that I was using literally all of my senses to study. My fingers, my eyes, my mouth, my ears. Like when I'm driving and I'm listening to audio, I'm using my ears. When I'm in group study, I'm using my lips and my eyes. When I'm watching videos, I'm more of a visual person, so I love watching Nurse Mike. Like my eyes are seeing pictures and stuff. And that's another thing. If you're a visual person, make sure you use lots of colors. Like I'm using my hands to write down stuff. So like I was making sure that I was using all of my senses. And with that, for me, it was easier for me to retain the information. Some subjects require you to play pretend, you guys. We pretended a lot in nursing school, okay? This is very interesting, you guys. If you speak another language, I'm here to tell you to use that to your advantage, okay? I speak Creole and somewhat French. When I tell you speaking another language came in clutch for me, I would make like little acronyms. Like for example, the Braden scale. Like I use my language, which is Haitian Creole. I say pi ba pi mal, meaning the worst. Oh, this is another one that I made, but for more score, I use the more the worse, meaning the more higher the number is, the worse the patient condition is. Pi ba pi mal means the lower the condition is, the worse. Just use you being bilingual to your advantage. Turn it around. Use it your own. I don't know. Just do something. Get creative with your studying. It doesn't have to make sense, but as long as it makes sense to you. What was something that like I was the creative one when I was like group studying. Like I came with several different tactics to remember information, and when I tell you it worked, like it worked. Like for example with respiratory alkalosis, I'm like, well, you tried and I tried, so we both compensated something, so it's so the organs are compensating to make sure that the pH is stable. But if you try and I don't try, oh no, if you try, I don't try, it's partial compensated. So we get partial credit on the test. Like, I was just doing like little, different whatever, so we could remember information. And that's what you need to do for nursing school, man. I'm telling you. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna cut this video short right here. I have some tips and tricks on what you could do to take your exams. If you want to watch that video or whatever, please comment down below, and I'll make that video, because that is a different ball game on its own. Okay, please don't forget to stay cute, stay classy and positive, and I'll see you guys in the next video.